Hello, welcome back to IT Lundy, part 2 for Scrum and Agile in IT Lundy. If you recall, in part 1, we spoke briefly about the concept, principles, we defined the roles, and we spoke about very basic example, and then we finish it with the definition of done. For today, we talk about some guidance and ceremonies, or basically some additional sort of information which might help you around the Scrum Master. So what we have daily stand-ups, sprint planning, backlog, refinement, and spring review, demos, and retrospective. So what is a stand-up? It's very short, 15 minutes, which means no chit-chatting, straight away task, issues, and flag anything which require help. Sprint planning, it's 4 to 6 hours, one per sprint. You plan the work ahead of doing the work, and priority in order and the size, and then commit to the plan. Backlog refinement, it's 1 hour as you need, depth for the backlog, evolve high value user stories, clarity with the team, prep oncoming sprint, improve and estimation. Then you go the show and tell, or they call it review or demo. It's demonstrating the feature and accepting criteria and the sprint commitment and success factor up to 3 hours. And this is end of the sprint, and before you have the retrospective, where you can basically review what you have done during that sprint and inspect and how the sprint went well, or issues, and what other improvement does the team require to basically take it across to the next sprint. These are the common sort of ceremonies, I would say, for Agile, and you can find them sort of practice at most of the basically, I would say, company, to be honest with you, and each groups, and especially in Agile and we do that one. Hopefully you've seen some of these somewhere else, and you can basically use this approach, or you can use your own approach. Let's have a look at the Agile. Now we finished from Scrum. Let's have a look at an Agile and Agile and we see what's happened around the again, similar to the previous one. Like Scrum, we go product owner, team, Scrum Master. Again, similar to the previous one, but we have here Scrum Master, which can rotate, and we have the engineers, and we have the live focus. So I don't need to focus on this more. It's exactly the same like the previous one, and you can see number of team, number of the owners. Next is the responsibility. As an engineer, developer, I'm putting modern engineer. That's referring to all the teams, and you can see owning the architecture, technical decisions of the project, first-line support, ensuring live services are running, defining automation, ensuring the healthy of the code, design, develop new features, release through the pipeline, and this is like a DevOps basically, and all the technical back-end team, and different team looking after it. And then modern PM, project managing, strategy, planning, proposal, making sure there's no gap, managing backlogs, ensuring the alignment, and accepting the team. Even though we got some core area we focus on, there are some no hard lines between disciplines, and basically making sure such situation the prime PM and got specific necessary requirement to take care of some of the basically strategy and the backlogs. Next is the basically approach, growth mindset, and basically thinking about customers, making difference, embracing the learning and philosophy, making sure you control the frequent smaller releases and life cycle feedback, creating the environment. New Agile, DevOps, modern engineering would basically add additional ways to the team for success, and these key factors basically it will the principle here is shaping and direct our culture at IT Lundy, the growth mindset that we can and will adopt and basically think, experiment, learn, improve, care about the customers, think about data-driven, work-based small cycles, making difference, with trust and solving and optimizing and using dynamic agile environment. Moving next, IT, module desired outcome, collaboration across the company, confidence, strategic planning, deliver most business value, innovate in strategic areas, save time, effort, improve quality of work. And again, that might be different, but in our scenario, we think about alignment, autonomy, organization, area path, work hierarchy, naming conventions, security, and autonomies around planning and practicing. How that will be translating into sort of like something meaningful. We have something like agile organization at taxonomy. You can see there the multi-layer, owner, engineering lead, tasks, stories, features, and epics. And you go 12 months, 6 months, and quarterly, and up to 6 hours even the iteration. So again, these are our approach. However, it could be different, around again about what is epic and scenario. In our scenario, the epic and scenario that have existed for 90 days or more don't have child work items, sort of like this is how we use with the North Star approach. Moving next is the work item journey with IT Landy, like state changes for epics, scenarios from new to active and closed. You create the new epic, then you broke it into scenarios, and then all scenarios are resolved. And then each stage change, either new, active, closed, and these can be customized based on your requirement. You can do the same thing with the work item journey, state changes for features, for stories. You've noticed here we got resolved, closed. Here we have active, closed for epic scenarios, whereas features and stories we have active, resolved, closed, or sometimes you can see that getting logged, opened by the PM, and then getting activated by the dev team, and then getting resolved by the PM or the test team. It could be. Moving next is the bugs. This is the dev. Test team will log it. Dev team will basically address it, go to active, then resolve, and then closed. Again, then this remove state should be used if work items is duplicate, created error, or no longer needed. Now iteration allow you to group work into sprints, milestones, or even specific time related period. In IT Landy we follow sprint like a couple of weeks, and monthly for again depend on the either bi-weekly or following the naming convention. The week starts on Monday and on Sunday. However, you can do it for 5 days. Again, it depends on your working hours. It could be even shorter. Last part is this security. All full-time employees, they have read only to code items, except they got read access to all work items except for high confidential. High confidential will restrict only to the member of program team, and again we apply data classification to these high confidentials. Last part is around again data classification, access control, integration, identity. All of these will basically fall into the same formula. However, that was sort of like a high level of what we do, how we can use Agile and Scrum in IT Landy. Hopefully you've seen something useful. Again, reach out if you need more around this area, but you've seen this is straightforward and very basic in our approach, and very, I will say, generic, no more customization. However, we have been working on with the different customers, customizing different, like either pipelines, states to fulfill their requirements, especially around testing, validation, and deployment, automation, infrastructure as a code. Nowadays, all these are changing, which means you can add more into it. That was last part 2, and hopefully you have learned something useful, and I shall see you in next course around DevOps. Thank you. Goodbye.